What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to do another controversial video. Today we're going to be going over 5 popular carry guns that I would never carry. Now there's a wide variety of reasons why I would never carry this, as I'll get into the video. Not all of these guns suck, but certainly some of them do. All 5 of these guns will be guns that you could see in the gun store, and you've most likely seen somebody carry them in the past, but I'm here to tell you that's probably not a good idea, and I'm also here to tell you an option or two that might be better for around the same price point. Before we get into the video, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys we have all the guns and ammo and cool stuff on the channel. So if you want to support the videos, all you have to do is just go to the link in the description below and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could use your help, so please go down there and donate to those kids. With all that being said, let's get right into it with number 5, and this is a relatively new firearm, and I should say a new style of firearm, sadly. This is the Kel-Tec P57. That'll take some getting used to. Now this was all the rage last year, a 5.7 pistol that looks like it's made out of a garden hose and a piece of melted plastic. But it has a lot of capacity and it's very lightweight, and stats make people very happy. Why carry a reliable gun that you could easily reload or malfunction clear when you can have one more round? No, I'm just kidding, but seriously, this thing is exactly that. You have one more round in this, it's a couple ounces less, but you don't get a detachable magazine. You have to use clips, stripper clips like we're in the 1910s, and you have to push all those in there with these little disposable plastic clips that you hopefully don't lose and won't break, but you will, because they are also made by Kel-Tec. It's a cool gun, don't get me wrong, but it has an absolutely terrible double action only trigger, so don't worry about hitting anything, because you won't. Well, not anything you're aiming at anyway. I'm just kidding. It is light recoil, it is high capacity, and it is very lightweight, but it is a relatively large handgun already, large enough to where I think the majority of people still will not carry this. This is bigger than a Glock 19. I know there was a lot of hype about it, but it is definitely bigger than a Glock 19, which, I mean, we've got a Turkish Glock 19 right here to show you. Overall, I think this gun is an interesting idea, but I think it's a terrible idea to carry this gun. I would rather have a gun that has 10 rounds that I could easily clear, could easily reload, and I know goes off all the time, as opposed to this thing. Now, if you're looking for a solid 5.7 with a very low price point, the Palmetto State Rock 5.7 is not only cheaper than this, and it has the same capacity, but you can detach those magazines, and you also don't have to deal with a revolver trigger. You can get a nice, crisp, semi-automatic trigger with that gun. In at number 4, since we showed it off already, this is the Daria DY9. Although I'm not just specifically talking about the Daria, I'm kind of mentioning the absolute tidal wave of Glock clones. There are a lot of them. Would I carry any of them? No. I wouldn't. I like some of them, don't get me wrong. They're interesting. They're a little more affordable than a Glock, but I personally believe that the Glock is not really the platform that you should probably be cloning in the first place. I'm a little bit more interested in the P99 and the VP9 style clones, since they have a better trigger and they're a little bit more reliable, held to a little bit higher standard as far as clones go, in my personal opinion, because I've seen some really cheap, really shoddy Glock clones, this one included. Now this gun is under $300. Comes with a fiber optic front and a fiber optic rear. It comes with an optics mounting system. It has an interesting grip, and they do have 15-round magazines. However, I do feel like you can do a lot better than this for the price point. If you're looking for concealed carry gun at the $300 mark, you can get yourself a CZP-10C, and I feel like that is going to be more reliable, more durable, better track record. If anything happens to it, you can send it in, and I think overall they're going to be more available, and they're just going to be better shooters in the long run. So I would personally, if I were you, avoid these for a carry gun. Although if you buy one for fun and you go out and shoot it, it's very reliable and you like it, I'm sure you could carry it. I just personally would not. When in doubt, you can always carry the actual Glock 19, which is also a better choice. Or a Ruger RXM, which is another Glock clone, which is about $100 more than this, but you get a lot higher quality parts, you get a lot better customer service, and just overall build quality. And I believe they are made in America, which is also a big plus. In at number 3, we have a very, very classic firearm that I've actually carried in the past, but I would no longer, and it currently has a little spider on it, apparently. So we'll take him and we'll put him over there, and we'll keep talking about Bond's handgun. Now, the Walther PPK is certainly one of the longest running concealed carry pistols on the market, and I would not hate you if you carried this. To be completely honest with you, if I saw this, I would just assume you're kind of a style over substance guy, or you just wanted to show off at the barbecue, and I appreciate it. Because don't get me wrong, as a concealed carry gun, this gun would work. That being said, there are a lot of better options for the money, and especially for the weight and the caliber choice that this gun is. I mean, we're talking about an almost $700 gun, which has a single stack that capacity of 7 rounds of 32 or 380 ACP, which is not wonderful in this century. In all fairness, this gun wasn't designed in this century. This is almost 100 years old now, and it sort of shows. With the ergonomics, with the limited beaver tail, which is definitely going to bite your hand if you have hands bigger than a small child.
I can tell you I don't like this gun at all.
Oh no.
Look at that.
For being like me size, it's not very comfortable to shoot.
It's not. Yeah, the ergonomics are not great. It's not a comfortable gun to shoot.
No.
It also has some interesting controls to it, and it does have pretty decent sights and an okay trigger, which does allow you to hit at distance. However, the gun itself, although it shoots a very small caliber and it's relatively heavy, it actually does have a legitimate amount of recoil by comparison to some other guns, which just simply have better ergonomics overall.
This thing is so accurate, but it does have some snap for sure.
For example, for about $200 less, about half the weight of this and almost twice the capacity, you can get yourself an M&P Bodyguard 2.0, and it's going to shoot better, it's going to shoot faster, it's going to have more capacity, it's going to be cheaper, it's going to have more features, and it's also going to be more reliable. There's also the Ruger LCP series, which is pretty good as well, and if you want to jump out of a 380, which you can, because again, pretty heavy and still a decent amount of recoil, you can go right up to, again, that CZP-10 or a Canik series of 9mm, and again, better caliber, more capacity, still cheaper with better features. So although this is a cool piece of history, if I have to choose a carry gun, I'm going to choose substance over style. In at number 2, this is going to be an interesting choice because I've also carried this a couple times, and this is the Taurus G3C. This is a gun that I previously recommended, and I still kind of do, but mostly not. If you are under the $200 price point, this is not a bad idea. Luckily for me though, I have other options that are significantly better, so this obviously gets left in the safe. Now the reason for that isn't because of its ergonomics, they're not bad. The shootability isn't bad either, but the reality is these guns are just not long-term reliable. And when I talk about my personal carry gun, I err on reliability over all else. Shootability, anything, the gun's got to go off. I want it to go off, and it's got to go off every single time. That's why I choose CZ. That's why I used to carry a Glock. That's why I carry an M&P, because I want them to go off. And just the reality is the Taurus G3C is just not reliable enough for my concealed carry rotation. And that's for me personally. After I did a bunch of videos on these, I actually bought 2 more, and I've had less than stellar luck post 2020. I also had a brand new Taurus G3C, a gun that I have several versions of. I have the Toro, I have 2 other versions of this G3C. I have a G2C and I have a G3. All of those guns function extremely well, so I had no reason to say otherwise. However, this one, I had never shot, obviously. It still has the sticker on it, and it obviously looks much newer than this one does. And that's because it's never been out of the box, and I got it for potentially a test gun, but never saw a reason to use it. But we went to put this in a battery, because this gun has been locked back like this for months, sitting in this box. Magazine in it, no reason to think that it wouldn't work, obviously, because all the other ones did, and see that? Gun doesn't even go into battery. That's not a good thing. Now, there's been a lot of manufacturing quality issues post 2020, but I feel like it's hit Taurus more than some others that we've reviewed. And I feel like nowadays, with more affordable options from CZ, from Canik, and from TSOS, I think there's really not much reason to have the Taurus G3C, unless you already do, of course. If it's your only handgun and that's the one you carry every day, I respect that, don't get me wrong, but if you're out there trying to get a new handgun, there's better options now. I have better options in the safe, so it stays at home. Now, there won't be any honorable mentions for this video because we do plan on doing a follow-up. Well, hell, this video is technically a follow-up. We try to do these every couple of years. Every time I get a new batch of shitty guns, we pop one out. So if you like that, make sure to subscribe. And here is number 1 with the probably one of the worst guns I've shot ever in my life, and certainly one of the worst guns we've had this year, and that is going to be the Diamondback DB9. Now, this is not a good firearm.
Well, I'm probably good never shooting that again in my life, so this ends that review.
This is not a shootable firearm, this is not a comfortable firearm, and this does not have a good capacity. So it doesn't have a whole lot going for it except for track record, in which, oh yeah, it also sucks. In all fairness, they make some okay guns. Now, it's a cute little guy. You get 6 rounds of 9mm, which is an extremely low capacity in this tiny little magazine, with this tiny little platform that is very, very snappy if you shoot it. You might scare them, but you sure as hell won't hit them without a lot of practice, and there's not really much use for that in my personal carry rotation. I only carry firearms that I'm able to take a headshot at 25 yards with, and I know that that is probably a higher standard than most people. However, that's how you get better. You hold yourself to a higher standard. The smallest gun that I can do that with is the M&P Bodyguard 2.0, as I mentioned before, and it is borderline successful. This thing, not even remotely close, and that's why it's not on the board at all. One of my personal favorites about the Diamondback DB9 is that the sights came completely off-centered from the factory, so that makes accuracy even easier. So I would recommend you stay away from the Diamondback DB9. Well, I don't know, unless you're insane, and then maybe you should get one. If you are looking for a subcompact 9mm polymer frame striker fired gun, there's a few options. From Canik to CZ to TSOS, there are so many. Just go out there and find one. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 different videos on like the best guns that are $300, $400, $500. Go check those out. If it were me, I'd get a CZ P10S. The Canik MC9 and the Shield Plus are more expensive than this, but they come close to this in size to weight ratio, and they are much better guns for a little more cost. So go out there and check those out. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.